Iburu, Iboya, Ibuche, everybody in Cyberland, your favorite Bawalao, at least I hope so. Homo doing Dileke coming at you with another one, sequel to help me help you. In this one particularly, before I get really into it, because this one is a Meyi. And we've had a couple of Meyis, but then I start to sit and I think, I need to explain what the Meyis are, so I'm gonna make a video on the Meyi. But here, just take this for just an understanding. When we talk about the Meyis, there is so many details about a Meyi that make up what Ifa communicates to the world and the universe, that Meyis specifically should have a deep dive on, no kidding, what that sign means. So for this one, we're gonna talk about Otrupon Meyi. And Otrupon Meyi, okay, with Aggayu, or more Aggayu. So therefore, Otrupon Meyi, if you want a deep dive, you got my email because you hit me up. But I think it's very important because in Otrupon Meyi, there's a lot of detail in there, and you got to follow things to a certain letter of the law. All Meyis, great responsibility, boom, great power, take care of you. All right, so let's just get right into it. When we talk about Otrupon Meyi, we talk about the creations of the mountains. We talk about the great flood. In biblical terms, we talk about the flood, right? The flood that came out, wiped everybody out, right? 30 days, 30 nights, right? Saved the animals, put them in the ark, right? Woo, we go. All right. That's the Bible's stance on it. I would tell you that when Otrupon Meyi comes out and you're a son of Aggayu, Mafarafung Aggayu, Mafarafung Orumila. Orumila has a lot to do with this sign. 1. 2. The godfather who pulled Otrupon Meyi and the guardian Aggayu, class act. I can tell your godfather knew what he was doing. That's 1. 2. When we talk about the great flood and we talk about the mountains, we got to look at it in a perspective, okay? Because my perspective is Ifa, and I give you my perspective as a Bawalao or Dileke, and there's other Bawalaos out there that are going to give you different perspectives. But on Otrupon Meyi, I like to focus on what is the great flood. What did that mean for mankind? All right. The great flood wiped out something so that something else can be born. Otrupon Meyis need to be careful with the things that they have controlled in their lives that wasn't worth a damn. Things that were not working out. And they need to wipe the slate clean. No different than what the great flood did. It wiped it clean, hard, fast, and swift. Is that fair? Is that a fair assessment? Okay. You got to start looking at your life in that way. And then when I talk about the creation of the mountains, no different when a tsunami comes and it starts wiping things out, it starts moving the earth, or sometimes the earth moves and creates that tsunami. You talk about Aggayu. You talk about a temperament. You talk about somebody, all right, who has the ability to have a great flood because of their personality and who Aggayu is. However, when you start something new, for more Aggayus, you gotta remember you can't be the loner. You have to let people in, but you gotta be careful. Otrupon Meyi, what Aggayu, a loner, Otrupon Meyi, starting out something brand new. I begin to worry about your health more than anything else. Why? Because Otrupon Meyi has the ability to be obese. Why? Because they're by themselves. Why? Because they eat their problems a lot of times. Why? Because maybe it's not eating their problems, maybe it's something else. And maybe they become a little bit more susceptible to certain things, whether it's the drink, whether it's drugs, whether it's whatever. Otrupon Meyi, because it's starting the slate clean and can start the slate clean, typically has a lot going on and has to make that decision point to clean the slate. Hopefully you're tracking with me. So when I think about that, I want you to fully understand that it doesn't matter what the past had for you. It's the decisions you make today that are going to define you tomorrow. Let's clean the slate. Let's get some of this dirty old laundry out of the way, and let's do it. You're Aggayu. You can do it. Anybody can do it, Aggayu. He's got your back. You're ride or die. All right? Who better? All right? The other thing is, Otrupon Meyi is an earth sign. It's the earth. Mafarafun. I touch the ground. So, what does that mean? That means that we have to give thanks to the earth. And when you talk about someone who's giving thanks to the earth and God, Aggayu, it's a great compliment. So good on you. That's why I gave props to your godfather. All right. This sign, particularly, I want to remind people of this sign of a pataki, who Orula read himself one day. Otrupon Meyi came out, the Abo came out, he's got to pinch things, this, that, and the other, right? So now he's walking down this road, he starts pinching everything he gets his hands on, right? Sees a tree, he's pinching it. He sees a bush, he pinches it. It doesn't matter, right? He's just walking down this road because he knows that that's what Ifa told him to do. To the point where he pinches something, he can't see what it is, and he pulls it, boom, and it's the hair of a tiger. Scares the tiger's gone. Well, the tiger was there to eat Orumila. The tiger was Otrupon Meyi's enemy. What is that pataki trying to tell you? That your enemies are hiding. And your enemies are trying to come after you. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful, okay? More particularly, when this sign comes out, a lot what I like to think of is when we talk about Otrupon Meyi, we have a reference to Egungun. When we have a reference to Egungun, I want to make sure that we're doing right. One, by the earth. Otrupon Meyi, you need to feed the ground. Go to your godfather to feed the ground. That's one. Two, go to your godfather to feed the Egungun. There's a ceremony that you do with a tomb, cemetery, secrets. But go to a babalao, go to your godfather, so we can help you better morph this power that you have. You're an Otrupon Meyi. That sign is your destiny, and it's a very good sign. All right, all signs have their ins and outs, but it's a great sign if you harness it the right way. The other big thing that I need people to remember, and I know I mentioned health when I talk about the sign, and we talk about the stomach. Okay, we talk about the person that absorbs in order sometimes to find some form of completeness, right? A lot of times we call that an addictive nature, right? We talk that gluttony. And that's why I mentioned the obesity early. That's a very careful thing. That's something you got to be careful about. For Otrupon Meyis, if you have kids, I want you to keep a close eye on those kids. Please take care of them from the womb until they get older. There is sometimes the unfortunate event where the child goes before the parent. And it's just the reality. It's morbid, but it's the reality that needs to be heard and needs to be understood. Please take care of your kids. The other big thing when I think about Otrupon Meyi, and this goes back to the Great Flood again, it goes back to the mountains, is the ability of hope. If I had to use one word, it's hope. Why? Because Aggayu's kids are typically loners, or people who like to walk the earth alone. A lot of times, if they have a lot of friends, it's not that they have friends because there's still an empty void in them. Aggayu's kids think of things differently. They walk the world differently. But then when I look at Otrupon Meyi, I think they complement each other almost. Because Otrupon Meyi, listen, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. And if you're not in a mistake right now, okay, great. But you can always rebuild. You can rebuild everything. Okay? Cities can be wiped out by all types of things in this world. Okay? By natural elements, war, whatever. But everything can rebuild. Otrupon Meyi, you can rebuild. And that's the key. That's the key to Otrupon Meyi. The great mountains. The ability for the great flood to come, clean things out. That's Otrupon Meyi. That is your strength. Now you understand your weaknesses. your health, your abilities to try to cope in different ways. If you're in right now in a mess, clean it out. Wipe it clean. Understand that your enemies come from the bushes. Your enemies come when they're hiding to come and get you. Keep an eye out. And do the 2 bows I talked about. Very important, okay? Feed the ground, feed the cemeteries. And with that, there you go. Otrupon Meyi. Omo, Aggayu, Iburu, Iboya, Ibucheche, Cyberland. Like, share, shoot me an email. la.regla.de.ifa@gmail.com. Always ready to listen, all right? And my wife and I are always ready to respond. So let us know. Iburu, Iboya, Ibucheche.